I have never read a Colleen Hoover book, as I mentioned at the end of my April wrap-up. And I was like, at best, this book will make me emotional and like want to cry. And I didn't read the back of the book because I didn't want to judge it too hard, because kind of like the books that she usually writes isn't like my thing really, so I wasn't gonna read anything about it. This Verity kept like popping up on my Audible recommended. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna use my credit and I'm gonna buy it. But now I have trust issues. Verity gave me trust issues. I don't trust anything anymore. Before I jump into it, I'm gonna give a quick no spoiler synopsis. So yeah. So the book starts and our main character, Lowen, is on her way to a big interview. You find out her mother has just died, and right away in the book, somebody gets ran over by a car, and she kind of graphically explains that his head exploded and it went all over her, all the blood and shit. And so this nice guy like takes her into a Starbucks bathroom. He's very chivalrous. He gives her his shirt because she has somewhere important to go, and they bond over the fact that they've both gone through some trauma and some death recently. But the guy has been through worse shit, and so Lowen's like, well, at least that didn't happen to me. At least my daughter didn't die, you know? She's going to her publisher, and they're having like a meeting, and she gets there, and who would be there but the guy? So the guy, we find out his name is Jeremy, and he is actually in her meeting, and what she's being met with today is his wife, Verity, has recently been in an accident and can no longer complete her very famous book series. So Verity is very famous. She has a very famous book series. And they need Lowen to finish the last 3 books because Verity can no longer do it. At first she's like, nah, I'm good. But then he's like, hey, BTW, lots of money. I'm gonna give you lots of money. And this girl's about to be homeless. She's getting evicted. When her mother died, she thought that she would have money. But then like right before her mom died, her mom was like, oh yeah, BTW, I have no money. So you're fucked. And then he convinces her, because he's very charming, he convinces her to write the series and tells her, you should come to our house. And I think it's Vermont. You should come to our house in Vermont and go through Verity's notes and go through her office. You can look at like anything you want to help you plan. Just like come see. And at first she's like, yeah, I'll come, but I'm only gonna be there for like a day and I'll get a hotel. And then he convinces her to stay with them and go through her notes. And that's pretty much the most I can say without spoilers. The most I can say without spoilers is Lowen needs money. Verity was in an accident. Verity's hot husband, Jeremy, was like, hey, Lowen, come to our house, go through her notes, finish her books. Lowen is evicted. She can't live in her house anymore. So she says, okay. And so she goes and she stays with them. And things get weird. That's all I'm going to say. The whole book, she is built up to be this person that you hate because Lowen finds her manuscript, and in the beginning of the manuscript she's like, don't write a biography or an autobiography, whatever, if you're not going to be your most honest, authentic self. You're probably going to hate me by the end of this, but I just need to be completely honest. And you're like, we love honesty. Now I just need to get into my theory. If Jeremy knew her books and liked them, did he know it was her at the crosswalk? Because at first, I really thought Jeremy was like a sinister character. Like, it was creepy. I don't know. I really felt like a sinister vibe from Jeremy. And then I was like, oh no. Once we start reading the manuscript, Verity is the sinister one. And Jeremy isn't. And then we start thinking Verity is faking it, which makes it 10 times as fucking creepy. But then when Jeremy's like, oh, I can put a lock on the outside of your door, I'm like, okay, now I have weird feelings about Jeremy again. Because why would he want to put a lock on the outside of the door? I literally thought they were gonna like kidnap her and like couple style like keep her in their basement or something. In which there's 2 scenes in the basement, and I thought for sure at some point Lowen was gonna go into the basement and Verity was gonna come up. But it wasn't like a horror movie that way. It was just kind of like suspenseful. So I don't trust anybody but Lowen, and I only trust Lowen is because you're seeing her outside perspective of all of this. After Verity dies, because Jeremy kills her, and we time jump, I knew something else was coming. Like, after we time jump, I was like, I just had this feeling like the other shoe was gonna drop, this wasn't over yet. I knew there had to be a twist because I didn't fully trust Jeremy after he tried to murder Verity, because I was like, after he does murder Verity, I was like, that doesn't feel right to me. Like, that doesn't feel like something he would do. Like, after getting to know him, he's just like such a sweet guy who like just cares about his kids. He doesn't even know Lowen, and he just like takes care of her, you know, like two adults would take care of each other. I was waiting for the last twist. I didn't fully trust Jeremy throughout the whole book, but kind of towards the end, I was like, okay, we know him. I trust him. But then he killed her, and then I'm like, okay, now I feel like he is Sinister. Like, I was right. And now I don't trust that twist because I don't fully trust Jeremy. And now I don't trust that Verity tells the truth in her letter. Why would she tell Crew not to talk to anybody about it? Is it because Jeremy was angry with her and she was scared for herself? Or was it because she did do it? And Jeremy knows that she did it, and she didn't want to get turned into the police. Verity and Lowen were in the house together so much. Why didn't she approach Lowen at some point? Like, there definitely would have been several times where she could have approached Lowen and be like, I need your help. Or I know you're reading the manuscript. That's not what happened. I really need you to believe me. Because I feel like Lowen would have helped her. She never mentions Lowen trying to like yell in her face, because the letter is definitely written after that point. She never mentions Lowen trying to catch her and yelling in her face, because what if the letter was trying to pin the blame on Jeremy? Right? Because what if she was like, okay, now you're screwing my husband, I'm gonna try to make him look bad. Is she a good writer, or is she a crazy bitch? At the very least, Verity wrote this incredibly fucked up thing and didn't put any pretense or ending, and it was incredibly irresponsible if I sat down right now and started writing about a fake murder I wanted to commit, and someone found it and turned to me and was like, what are you doing? That would make sense. I also don't believe that Verity told Crew to hold his breath because she realized they were going down, because that is a split-second situation. And I don't believe that she could have figured that. What the fuck? So then in the letter, she says, like, okay, Jeremy suspected me, and that's why he tried to kill me, and that's why I had to fake being in a coma. But that's all just in the letter. We don't actually know if Jeremy found the manuscript or not. Because she says that he did, and Lowen's like, oh, that makes sense. You know, fuck. Lowen's like, that makes sense why he said this thing when I showed him the manuscript. But then it's like, can we trust even that he did know? Because that's in her letter, and we don't know if we can trust her letter. Because then Jeremy does say things to Lowen that backs up, like, her actions. Like, if the letter is right, and Jeremy did read it, and he is as caring of a person as he says that or as Verity describes him to be, and as we get to know him as, why would he believe it? Because he does say to Lowen that he never feels like Verity had a connection with Harper. So, and then it's like, okay, if Jeremy did do that, yes, it's fucked up, but this is also a man who just lost 2 of his children and thought his wife murdered one of them. And yes, it should have been, he should have just called the police. But, like, I get that he lashed out. He was probably fucking exhausted, and he just finds out that his wife is, like, a monster and killed one of their daughters. He's gonna be pissed. I'm not saying murder is okay, or attempted murder, because he did eventually murder her, but, like, do we get why he did it? Because that's fucked up, dude. The things that she wrote in that book are incredibly fucked up. Is Lowen and her baby and Crew safe with Jeremy? Like, are we just okay with that? Anyways, that is my thoughts on Verity. I'm gonna end it here. Please let me know what you think in the comments, because I have nobody to talk to this about. I'm getting my sister to read it right now, but she's not finished, and I'm going crazy, and yeah. I'm Clever Hans, and I guess that's it for now, because I have trust issues, and I don't know if I'm ever going to read a book again. That's a lie. I already started something. Okay, that's it. Bye.